Hello, welcome back to the Board Games 4K YouTube channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews, playthroughs, unboxings, and we generally talk a load of bollocks about tabletop gaming in general. And in this video we're going to be talking about a game that is meant to be based on like a video game system called a MOBA or a Mogger or something like that. We're going to be talking about Rum and Bones. We're going to be talking about the second tide and also the first edition of this game. And in this game you'll be taking control of a motley crew with some captains. You'll be trying to board your opponent's ship, trying to take control of certain objectives in order to give you victory points that will allow you to win the game. And in this video we're going to be giving you a very brief overview of the rules. We'll be telling you what we do like, what we don't like, and then we'll come back and we'll tell you whether or not Rum and Bones, first and second tide, are worth playing today and in the future. So remember, if you are new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel. Leave a comment in that section down below, and we'll see you after this. Board Games 4K. So, Rum and Bones, how'd you play this game? So Rum and Bones is a game that will see you trying to board your opponent's ship and take control of certain objectives. So you've got these sort of shipboards with these decks placed next to each other. You're going to take control of 3 captains from a massive wad of captain cards, mercenaries and all that sort of stuff. You've got different categories of captains that you can take control of. You'll choose 3 of them. You'll take the relevant player sheet and the upgrade cards that come with that, and you'll take a load of dice and you'll place your captains on designated spots on the board. And you'll also notice that you've got spaces for your crew, and you'll take a certain number of deckhands and a certain number of bosuns and you'll chuck them on the board in the designated spots, and then the game will begin. So there's 4 phases to this game. You've got the action phase, you've got the unleash the Kraken phase, you've got the recovery phase, and then you'll start a new round after you've done a little bit of cleanup, right? So each hero will have 3 actions, and the actions that you could do, you could take a skill action where you can use one of the cards that you've got on your player sheet. You can move, in which case you'll get 2 movement points, and that will allow you to move to an adjacent spot. Or you can rig by rolling the dice, and then you'll count the number of spaces that you've got to get to the other side, and if you get more than that, then you're successful. You can place your captain on the other ship, but if you fail the rig roll, then that captain will be washed overboard and will be placed out of game for a certain amount of time. At any time during the action phase, you can also spend gold to upgrade your character, and what you'll do, you'll look at the upgrades that you've got and you'll flip those over to the higher level. And I think there's 3 levels on most of the cards. Some of them only got 2 levels, but they all give you better special abilities that you can use in the action phase. So once you've used up your 3 actions, then it will be your opponent's turn. They'll get 3 actions on one of their heroes. Once you've activated all of your crew and all of your heroes, then you'll move on to the unleash the Kraken phase. So you've got to remember that anytime one of your heroes knocks out a bosun or a deckhand, you'll get 1 gold. And anytime a hero knocks out another hero, they'll gain 3 gold, and they'll also get a victory point. And the first person to get 8 victory points in this game will be the winner. So if a hero is knocked out through any means that doesn't originate from another hero, like from a crew or a cannon or something, then they'll get 1 victory point and 1 gold for doing that. So if you don't choose or you can't activate a hero, you'll have to activate your crew, right? So you'll put 2 deckhands on 3 friendly deployment points. You'll deploy 2 bosuns on any friendly deployment point, and then in the order you're choosing, you'll either choose to fire your gun or move and attack with your crews. If you choose to attack with your deck gun, then you'll roll the appropriate dice and you'll weight the appropriate damage, right? And the same goes for the crew. You'll have to roll dice to see if you can destroy their bosuns and their crew, and you'll take them off the board, right? And all opposing crew and bosuns that come off the board go back into your opponent's supply. So it's a constant wave upon wave upon wave of these miniatures coming off and onto the board. So once you have activated all of your heroes and all your crew and all that sort of stuff, then you'll move on to the unleash the Kraken phase. So you'll roll 2 dice, add the results together. You'll look at the Kraken points in the player's pool, and if it's equal or lower than the points in the Kraken pool, then the Kraken is deployed. Then you'll roll a die and check on its dashboard to see what it does. And there's a variety of little things that it can do, but it's always bad. So also in this game, you've got tide cards as well, which you can play on your turn and act as sort of like special bonus things. And if you've got tide cards that you don't necessarily want in the recovery phase, the next phase, then you could dump out 3 and you can draw 3 more to sort of freshen things up a little bit. So if any heroes have got a dead man's coin that's on the gold side, then you can remove that and the heroes come back into play. But if the heroes have a dead man's coin on the black sort of silver side, you'll flip that over to the gold side, and that means they can't come back into the game until the next round. So you'll keep doing this, you'll keep going round and round and round and round, put stuff on the board, getting your heroes in and out of combat, gaining upgrades, trying to make your players more powerful, and you'll keep doing this until somebody has got 8 victory points, and then they will win the game. So what do we like about Rum and Bones? So the first thing that we really like about Rum and Bones is the amount of content that this game has produced over the years, and it is now absolutely enormous. You've got Rum and Bones, obviously the core set of the first game, and then you've got Second Tide, but also you've got all these different factions that have been released throughout the years. You've got the Wellsport Brotherhood, you've got the Hammers of Ragnarok, you've got the Mazu's Dreadful Curse, and they've all got different themes, they've all got different thematic special abilities, and there's just so much choice, so much variety. And now with you can even get a crossover pack where you can use the first edition miniatures in the second edition. So all the miniatures in the early editions of this game have now come over to the second edition, and the amount of characters you've got is like it's the size of a brick now, and there's so many different types of ships, different size ships. You've got these big galleons, you've got these tiny little sort of like rowing boat type things, and we love the amount of variety that is available in this game, and it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. So the second thing that we like about Rum and Bones is the upgrades, and if this game just provided you with a certain special ability for each character, this game would sort of maybe stall halfway through. But the fact that you can keep upgrading your character, pushing towards the victory point threshold of 8 points, means that you'll constantly feel like there's a sense of momentum in Rum and Bones, you know. And all the characters are more or less quite well balanced. Some characters that are more powerful in other areas only have sort of like, I don't know, 1 upgrade level, and others that are less powerful have 2 upgrade levels. So we love the amount of upgrades, and it does, like you said, keep the game fresh. So the third thing that we like about Rum and Bones is all 3 component parts of your crew, your heroes, your bosuns, and your deck guns and all that sort of stuff. They all are powerful. They can all do damage, and like heroes have got their upgrade cards, their special abilities they can use. Crew are better in numbers, and the bosuns obviously can protect your crew, and then also the deck gun can blow people up from a distance. So all 3 component parts are fantastic. Some people say that the crew is a little bit underpowered. We don't think so, because they got that bloody deck gun that can just blow people away. So all 3 component parts of this game are just as powerful as each other. So the final thing that we like about Rum and Bones is that these sea monsters add an unknown quantity to this game, and that is really well needed. I know a lot of this is luck based, it's based on die rolls, but you add in a third party that neither of you have got control of, and it really does spice the game up when you need to. And obviously you've got to be careful that the Kraken doesn't come out when you don't want it to. So you've got to be careful when you play these tide cards. They contribute to the Kraken pool, you see, when you're playing these special ability cards. So that unknown quantity that isn't controlled by you or the other player is really good. So what don't we like about Rum and Bones? So the first thing that we don't like about Rum and Bones is the setup time is a mind-numbing experience. You've got to set all the boards out, you've got all these miniatures to put out, you've got all these different objectives to put out, you've got to set up your player sheet, rummaging through the bag to get all your miniatures out, trying to look for that. It's a nightmare. And when it all comes down to it, when you finish the game, you've got to pack it away. It is just a big mess of cards and bits and bobs. It takes absolutely ages to sort it all out, put all the cards back into their own heroes pile, because you've got masses and masses of upgrade cards. It is a real headache. And whilst we love this game, that does sort of put us off from playing it. You know, just sort of put it out and go, right, let's play this, because it is a massive, massive headache trying to set it up and tear it down. So the second thing that follows on from that directly is the fact that where we have got so much stuff for this game, trying to find the captain, the hero that you need in a bag full of these miniatures is an absolute nightmare. And okay, we've separated them out into colours. You know, you've got the whites in one bag, you've got the yellows in one bag, blah, 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 all that sort of stuff. But it's still looking at the cartoon image and trying to match it to a 3D sculpt is really, really difficult, and it would have been better maybe there'd been some sort of number on it or something, maybe underneath, so you could look at it and think, well, that matches, like, that's like 3A or something, or that's 2B or something like that. But as it stands, you're looking through going, is that it? And I'm asking the opponent, going, is that the one? Is that him? I don't know, he's holding a gun or something, or is that a sword? Or drives me out of the wall, you know what I mean? But that's part of the problem with the setup, is you've got to rummage through these bags of miniatures. And maybe that's our fault, because if we only had the base game, this wouldn't be a problem. But the fact is, we've got so much stuff now, we're sort of victims of our own greed. So the next thing that we don't like about Rum and Bones is the board itself can get clogged up with all these sort of crew members. You're trying to sort of fit all of these crew members on these spots, because they keep respawning all the time, you know what I mean? They come off the board, they come back on the board, and it might be the case when you move, they all move into the same square. You can't get everything in, and you're trying to sort of think, well, squeeze, are they in that space? Are they in that space? Are they in? So it is a real headache. There might have been some better way of doing it. I don't know. I'm not a games designer, but the fact you're trying to cram all of these miniatures into a space that's the size of a thimble is a bit weird. So the final thing that we don't like about Rum and Bones, it doesn't apply to us, but if we didn't have the crossover pack, you know, the pack of player sheets that allows you to use the first iteration of Rum and Bones with the second iteration, we'd be completely and utterly gutted. But we did pick it up, and we're thankful for that. But it's really hard to come by now. So if you haven't got that, it's going to be very difficult to transplant like the original factions from the first game, the Wellsport Brotherhood, I think it's called, and Mazu's Dead Dreadful Curse, and the French one, you know, into the second edition, because you need those player sheets. So I don't know if there's a way of sort of downloading them off the internet, whether call me or not, I've done that for you, but it's an essential purchase if you can find it, and it is really expensive. So that's a bit of a bummer that these sort of Kickstarter exclusives that are essential to the crossover of the game are now sadly out of print. So to summarise, is Rum and Bones still worth playing today and in the future? So we are going to say yes, without a doubt. This is probably the most successful implementation of a sort of a video game system into a board game that we've played. You know, it's okay, the mechanics lack a bit of depth, but this is made up in the way the game portrays itself in content and style, because this is a highly thematic game. There's loads and loads of stuff. There's loads of sort of tangible stuff, like big miniatures, and you've got the wonderful cards, and that's loads of stuff to touch in the game. But the mechanics are a little bit lackluster, and it is an Ameritrash game. But that, if you just want something that you can plonk on a table, have a good laugh, chuck some cards around, throw a load of dice and see what happens, then this is a really, really good game. And if you love miniatures, if you love collecting these sort of things, these sort of miniature games, this is a fantastic game for you. So there you go. That's Rum and Bones. It is an expensive miniatures game, but it's also a very good miniatures game. Yeah, so that's it. That's Rum and Bones. We're going to give it 5 out of 5. We really do like this game, and whilst a lot of it is quite expensive and elusive because of all the Kickstarter stuff, if you can even just get the second and tied core box, then that will do you, and so you can dip your toe in the water, so to speak, see how you get on with it. But yeah, it's a 5 out of 5 game for us. We love it, my kids love it, and that's it. So remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel. Leave a comment in that section down below, and if you made it this far, give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time.